Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 321 Ghost. As always, I'm your host with a silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal Natalie. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Great. Fucking right in the heart of spooky season.
Oh yeah.
I went to my first haunted farm of the season. That
Fun.
was nice, you
I love
know.
that.
Um, it's called Stalker Farms, Stocker, and for the Halloween occasion, it becomes Stalker Farms,
I was gonna
which
say the spelling was unfortunate the first time.
so it works because like stalker, right? Someone creepy following you, and then also stalk because there's like stalks of corn because it's a corn farm, right? So it works on all
Obviously.
the
Yeah.
levels. They should just
Yeah.
change it,
It's
legally change their
puntastic.
name. Maybe I'll just go back and let them know.
Put it in their suggestions box.
But it's a great situation. You probably don't feel the weather change quite as much in San Diego,
A
but
little bit, actually.
up here it's like blustery. The fucking trees, half of them are red now. It's just they're all fallen. It's got my neighborhood has a very Haddonfield vibe to it, and in the autumn, and I'm here for it, and I'm always getting excited to find some dude in a jumpsuit and a William Shatner mask just looking at me from across the street.
You
But
just kind of look at him and just kind of wave a little bit. Hey.
yeah, and just say, the babysitter's house is that way.
Yeah.
Come
I'm
down.
not a babysitter or a teenage girl, so please move along.
You're good. He didn't have the same. I'm not going to get into too many tangents here. Sorry, but he didn't. Michael Myers didn't have the same limitations on who he would kill because I think like first it's
hmm
Freddy Krueger only kills kids in their
That are
dreams.
related, that are of the lineage of
Yeah.
people that killed him.
So he has the most limitations on himself.
Yeah, for
Then
sure.
it's Jason who is mostly camp counselors, but
Mhm.
anyone who gets in his way,
He
he's gonna
becomes
kill.
more flexible later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Michael Myers, like, yeah, maybe there's some like triggering with like teenage girl babysitters, but like, I don't know. He just kind of kills
He'll
everybody.
kill everybody. I think they just need to be in Haddonfield,
Yes.
which solve that problem yourself. Move anywhere else and you're
That's the
good.
thing, right? Or just like, do you think, yeah, we're just like, yeah, move off of Elm Street or don't go to Crystal Lake,
Oh, I guess
but
he does go to that college campus.
true.
hmm
And Jason did take Manhattan, so that's
Yeah. So, I mean, they're obviously creating their own limitations. They should dream bigger, reach for the stars.
um I mean, I think limitation can sometimes be the catalyst for creativity, as they say. I don't,
Okay.
to paraphrase. So it's like it's hard to write a great song these days with three chords, because it's all been fucking done, right? So you got to be. I get it. So I get where Freddie's coming from, but that I feel like that is with Jason, it's self-imposed.
Oh, for
Whereas
sure.
with Freddy, I think it's got to do something with his nightmare curse after being murdered in the boiler room.
Yeah. He makes the most out of it, though.
I think so too. Um,
What
we're
movie are
not
we
t-
talking about?
we're not talking about any of their scary stories, but we are talking about some scary stories. In fact, scary stories that one should tell in the dark. Hey, y'all, we're talking about the film Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, oh, based off the book series from 1981 to 1991. Scary
Mhm.
Stories to Tell in the Dark, legendary book series.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Would you say formative? Because I would.
Oh, totally formative. Like, it's such a big part of my childhood, and I'm sure yours too, and many 90s kids, I would think, and 80s.
It all kind of mixed together with me where I was reading a lot of Goosebumps,
hmm
you know, um, watching a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark,
hmm
some Eerie, Indiana too. Shout out to
Ah,
that one. Fucking so good.
such a
Um,
short run, though.
Uh, the, in Erie, Indiana, they flew too close to the sun, and burned out bright, you
Yeah, I
know.
guess so.
I think Kurt Cobain once said, or maybe he didn't, I don't know. But these books, it's weird because like they're shorter stories and probably easier to read as a child than say like a chapter book like Goosebumps with a
Mm-hmm.
much longer kind of like plot, this and this and this, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's still written for children. But especially these fucking, I mean, the stories are great. And then, I
Mm-hmm.
know the first book at least was based off a lot of like old like folklore,
Mm-hmm.
like Wendigos existed before the Wendigo, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, but god damn, these illustrations,
They're
like
so good.
that is the fucking nightmare fuel.
It's the illustrations apparently, like the stories obviously got a lot of heat because these were in like children's school libraries. And on the book, I have like a newer print of it because trying to get a first edition of the first book will set you back about $75 if you want to find it.
That's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but like that's like I don't know what condition you're getting that book in. So
Yeah,
this book
haunted.
right on
That's the
the little
condition.
cover, dork. Right on the cover it says it's for ages 8 to 12 and the stories have all sorts of really dark themes and really scary shit. Like I was reading some of it like on my own and was like, "Whoa, this is really heavy." But the illustrations were what parents really fucking freaked out about. And, parents in the 80s were on one. Like they wanted everything to be protected from their kids, conservative parents. And they made a newer edition of all the books with less creepy illustrations. I don't know if they're still out and about, but I couldn't find them. But I made sure that the book that I ordered, which is a compilation of all three of the books, had the original illustrations because I'm reading them now with my son for the first time. And it has the original illustrations. So I think they took some of the creepier ones out of the newer
Mm.
ones.
I haven't seen the ones with the lessened
The covers
illustrations.
are different on some of them. But they have, yeah, I think they just more so removed some, or they like the same illustrator made new drawings.
Or at least they didn't put them on the cover or something. Because like even just on the cover, you're like, fuck, that's sometimes they'll put the worst fucking
Terrifying.
one just right there
Yeah.
on the cover, just being
Well,
like, I
you gotta
dare
know what
you to read this, child.
you
Dare
gotta
you.
know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Alan Schwartz and Stephen Gamble, who was the
Hmm.
illustrator. These again, yeah, nightmare fuel, I mean, I
Hmm.
remember,
Was there one that stuck
yeah,
in your head, like as a kid, that really freaked you out?
it was, I mean, Harold, I think, is one because I mean, I know that
Yeah,
was,
Harold
I
scared everyone.
remember Harold being on the cover. That was one of the famous ones, of course, depicted here in the movie. Um, but it was always the spider one because I fucking, and not that this is like the most like
Traumatized me.
effective part in this movie, their depiction of it, but like, yeah, fucking spiders, fuck that shit. I was like
Hmm.
afraid of like I don't know why like I was like afraid of showers because right because in the story like the one's like in the shower, right?
No, it's really short. It's
Is it
like
fuck?
yeah, so I went through the book and I read all of the stories that are in this movie.
Thank you for doing the research.
A few of them are, well, the fucking research team isn't doing the research. So here we are. There's one story that's a combination of two stories. So that is different. But for the red dot, that one is only like a paragraph long and it's pretty much and it's Ruth. This it's the closest one to the stories in the book. It's the
Mhm.
only one that is actually true to the book story. Ruth gets bit by a spider. It's getting itchier. It's hurting more. She's like, "Mom, my face is hurting. We need to get this looked at." The mom's like, "All right, we'll go see the doctor in the morning." too late. Oh, she takes a bath. She takes a bath and she soaks
Okay.
in the bath.
Yeah.
And then when she gets out of the bath, it pops open and all the spiders come out. I thought about that so much as a child. Every time I saw a spider, I was like, you're not getting on my fucking face. I'll tell you right now.
Well, and then I don't know if this is just like another urban legend, but like I don't know. I hear that like you like swallow like
Oh,
some
yeah.
non-zero amount of spiders each year just in
Mhm.
your sleep. And you're like, "Oh my God. I don't."
I've I have read that enough that I'm like, it's got to be true. Why wouldn't bugs go into your mouth? It looks like a cave.
Well, funny enough, right? I mean, the whole opening part of this movie is that like, tell a story enough times, it's true,
Hmm.
essentially. So very much, yeah, it's gosh, and just really like between reading these books and then reading like my like big like animated like book of like urban legends, you
Hmm.
know it all it all mixed together. I loved it. Basically, I was just taught and conditioned to be afraid of really any situation
Me
that I could
too.
be in
That's
because
why we don't do anything. We don't camp. We don't fuck with the ocean. We don't do anything.
something's gonna end up with like a fucking dude with a hook and spiders crawling out of my fucking mouth, and I'm not having it.
Did you and your friends ever like tell scary stories or anything at like sleepovers and things like that? Like the flashlight trick on the face?
I remember like as a kid, like so I must have probably been like 6, maybe 7. I remember spending the night at a friend's house. We would always, rotate between each other's houses. And I remember his dad reading out of this book to us,
Because
or out of these books.
it gives you instructions on when to jump scare people in the story, when to lower your voice and slow your speech.
So
it
cool.
it tells you how to tell the story. So when my son was reading it along with me, he's like, "Oh, well, this isn't working because I can see when it's saying to jump scare." So I was like, "Okay, well then you all hold the book like facing me and we'll try it." And he swears he's not scared, but I saw him jump a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Hey, trying to save face. It's all right.
Yeah.
You're a cool dude. Don't worry, man.
Yeah. He's tough.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, gosh, let's see. So this movie is directed by Andre Overdahl. I don't know if I
Mhm.
pronounced that right.
I
My
think that was a great
apologies.
guess.
He did Troll Hunter, Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I may have seen,
We
and
watched that.
did we? And then
Hmm.
Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is a Dracula story. I heard it was not very good,
I've never
and
seen
that's
that one.
yeah. So, we've got a few people involved in this story and the screenplay here. Obviously, most notable, Guillermo del Toro, who also
Hmm.
produces that. I think probably that alone gives it a little bit of extra quality. I mean, certainly for me, gave me some extra buy-in and wanting to
Yeah.
watch it to begin with. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, um, let's see. This movie stars Zoe Colletti, Michael Garza, Gabriel Rush. Dean Norris from Breaking Bad, who
Hmm.
also owns a barbecue place in our hometown. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did know that.
good
So
for
strange.
him.
Yeah.
Uh, you got Austin Abrams, who I think is pretty, starting to put together like at least between this and Weapons, putting together
Hmm.
some fun performances because he gets the fun character to play, like, the shitty bully.
Hmm.
Um,
He's
and
got a
he was
mean
also,
face.
he does.
Yeah.
And I would say he was probably one of the highlights of Weapons, his character. I mean, a movie with a lot of highlights, especially with someone like fucking Aunt
Hmm.
Gladys.
I didn't
He
I didn't
manages to,
recognize him at first. Like between that, like I clicked on him and I was like, he's in Weapons? And then I was like, who
yeah.
is he in Weapons? And then I realized that was him and I was like, oh, okay, that he looks so much older, but he's really not that much older, I wouldn't think.
He also is going to be in the new Resident Evil.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Some awards. I know the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards gave it, the award for best creature FX, which I
They need
think
to
I
calm
would,
down.
I think I can see it. I wouldn't say like the effects rather than maybe the design is what I appreciate.
I did some
Um,
research on the creature effects because when I saw this in the theater, I mean, it would have been when it came out in
mhm.
2019. I thought the effects were much better than when I was watching them on my TV for, preparing to talk about this. But it's a combination of practical effects, again, with CGI layered on. And I watched a couple of different videos. It is way more practical effects than you'd think. There's obviously the Jingle Jangle man. He's the most CGI.
And you can tell.
And you can tell like the CGI is not great, but I love the creature effects for the woman in the red room. She's terrifying, honestly. No hugs from her, please. And Harold also looks just like he does in the book. I thought they did such a good job with Harold. He's my favorite.
The BMI Film and Music Awards gave best feature film to this,
Mm.
which I don't know why
That
necessarily.
feels like somebody had a bias.
A little bit. Yeah. So, okay. But hey, I'm happy to hop into this movie. How about you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, I do kind of appreciate how this movie works. I mean, I don't know. Would you have preferred if this movie were just a straight anthology or even like an anthology like Trick or Treat is? Because I guess it's kind of close to that. Or do you kind of like how this like narrative thread with, Sarah Bellows and this whole thing kind of plays out?
I think it could be both. I don't think it needed to be a straight up anthology because that would have just been too on the nose. Like the book itself, each story is disconnected from the other, but I don't think I needed the whole fresh story of Sarah Bellows and her family's background and all of that. I probably would have more preferred this group of kids discovering this book in the house and the book just being an entity in itself because the book itself scared me so much that I didn't keep it in my room. Like I would put it in the other room because I didn't want to see the picture before I
Yeah.
went to bed. So I think the book itself could have been villainous in some way. I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker. They need to figure that shit out. But I had no interest whatsoever in the story of Sarah Bellows and that like mystery behind it. So I liked that it was a group of characters that all knew each other. I didn't mind the setting of 1968. I think that gave it like good, fun, you know, nostalgia and all of that. Feels very Halloweeny. So I like the way that they set this up. How about you? Would you have preferred an anthology?
I'm not sure. I think because like you said, like some stories are like a paragraph long and
Yeah.
some are longer. So it's kind of hard to keep things even, but
Mm-hmm.
like you say like literally you save the short paragraph of a story for not one of the main characters. Like
Yeah.
but Ruth is like a side character,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun. Ultimately, I enjoy it. I don't What I do appreciate though is I agree the movie being set in the 60s is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly all movies should exist like 1995 or earlier
Yeah.
because just get the internet and cell phones out of the way.
Yeah. Unless they're a plot point of the movie, they ruin a lot of situations. I don't want to read people's text messages.
But like literally name one good horror movie that involves the internet and cell phones and social media and
What was that one that we watched that takes place all on a laptop screen?
I couldn't tell you.
Unfriended.
Sure. Yeah, where it's like all
I
on a
hate
Zoom call.
I hated that movie at first and I'm starting to like it.
I'm gonna unfriend you, Natalie. Oh my gosh.
And I'm gonna haunt your
Podcast over.
fucking laptop.
I know you would. Just don't look around too much in there. So we we're introduced to this group. We've got Stella, who is our main protagonist. Um, we've got her friends Chuck, who we see scooping some pieces of shit out of the toilet.
Love
We've
that for
got,
Chuck.
yeah, love that for Chuck. Augie, and then mysterious new child Ramon. I mean, how old are they supposed to be?
They're supposed to be like 17, 18
I
because
thought,
Ramon draft and then Tommy like signs up for the military. So
I
they're both
thought
18.
I thought like Ruth and Tommy were 18, but the others were like 15, 16. That
Mm-mm.
was the vibe I was getting.
They make a comment about it being their last Halloween together.
I thought it was like the last Halloween before like they get too old, which frankly, they're already too old to be out
I know.
trick-or-treating
I
and
always feel
shit.
bad. I'm like, I will give candy to anyone. Like, you can trick or treat to your heart's content. But like, if they were arguing that they're too old to trick or treat, like, y'all, you're already there.
Yeah, I think I don't know, is like 10, 11 too early or like 12 to be your last year? I think 12's too old.
My last year trick or treating was when I was 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, my son is 10 and he's stoked to go trick or treating this year. I think 10 and 11 are like the sweet spot because then you have like freedom from your parents or siblings, like from what, like 9, 10, 11.
Maybe in these, like, in these times, I feel like,
Well,
gosh,
not
people
where
barely
I
even trick or
live.
treat anymore.
Not where I live because everybody drives like a fucking maniac, but like in the suburbs,
Yeah.
I was trick or treating by myself by the time I think I was like 8.
Yeah, but the 90s were different.
I know.
Like that was like we were first seeing, the early Stranger Danger,
We were reading
type
these
brewing.
books and nobody gave a shit. So we were trick or
Yeah.
treating on
We
our
were
own way too early.
we were fucking prepared. But so like we were saying, it's 1968, small town in
Mhm.
Pennsylvania. And they all want to get together for one last hurrah.
Mhm.
We also have the town bully Tommy, and he really fucking hates the scarecrow at the corn farm that he lives on because he has to like be like, nah, y'all, we gotta stop. I gotta do one thing before I fucking do anything. I need to go over and I need to beat the shit out of this goddamn scarecrow who I've named.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
assuming maybe his parents named it.
I was thinking like his therapist was like, you know, like Harold is like an externalization of his, I don't
His
know, his
self-hatred that he inflicts on others through bullying.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I think I don't know, maybe it's like if you're gonna bully the scarecrow. So
Yeah.
like
But he
that's why
just does
he's like,
both.
well, yeah. So like maybe he's like driving. He's like, I can't help it, and I'm about to. I've got a big old bully erection. I need to handle it, and then goes and takes it out on this scarecrow. And the guys are like, really? Again, we were supposed to go and get pop over at the soda pop mart and whatever kids did in the 60s, and now you want to go back to the fucking farm? We were just there, but he's got to get it out, so he does. That's Tommy.
I love that intro for Tommy.
He also happens to have a date Halloween night with Ruth, who is Chuck's sister.
Hmm.
I don't know what she sees in him.
Oh gosh, I know she seems so sweet. Maybe it's she likes the bad boy thing.
Yeah, because I think she realizes it was a bad idea, like from the beginning. Like she's like, "Oh boy, this is
Yeah,
not good."
yeah.
So let's see. I think Tommy must be bullying them like pretty normally because they're prepared for this time.
Oh, they're like, we're gonna get revenge because this motherfucker is about to leave to war, and we want to give him something to remember us by.
Yeah, until he that's the other thing, right? It's 1968, and you had mentioned, like draft and the war.
Hmm.
Um, this movie has it makes some choices. Like I don't know why the whole like Vietnam War thing has to hover over this. I don't know why this movie has to be as racist like Tommy has to be as racist as he is,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
cop,
yeah.
both. And and then you have like, what it's supposed to be like a few days before Nixon wins the presidency. So you see like
Mm-hmm.
shots of like Nixon, and you even have like you see like swastikas and shit. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
how old is the audience supposed to be for this movie?
Well, okay, this is interesting because as I was watching this movie, I was thinking the same thing. And it's PG-13. And when I was watching the video about the, practical effects and CGI and all that, they kept mentioning they're like, we couldn't have any blood. And I'm like, okay, number one, is that true? Because we've watched a lot of PG-13 movies, I think, that have some blood, or it's like only a certain amount of screen time can be dedicated to blood.
It's like how you can say you get like one fuck, but it has to
Yeah.
be not in a sexual way.
Yes.
And then I think you get like maybe like one quick pair of boobs. Or
No, I don't think
maybe
you can have boobs. No
I
boobs.
think dang, so maybe just James
Mm-mm.
Cameron got the exception for Titanic.
That was a big deal. That was a really big deal. Trust me, I've watched tons of documentaries on that movie. I was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio as a tween. Not so much
Two bi-
anymore.
two big deals.
Oh my gosh.
Love Kate Winslet.
I know. Anyway, so I was wondering why they go so hard. I was like, is there a reason why this takes place in 1968? And there's no real reason. They just felt that it was a good like setting for like Halloween nostalgia. It was a pivotal time in American history. A lot of things that happened in this year affected, the course of things to come. That was what they noted. I was like, you could have really picked any year, like you said, before 1995, and it would have worked. I actually probably would have preferred if it was in the 80s so that it, was when a lot of these stories were written, or I'm sorry, when the books were written, because a lot of the stories are old. But it was an interesting choice. I agree. Like for a PG-13 movie, I'm like, okay, so we can't show a little bit of blood, but we can, write racial slurs on someone's car, and that's okay, and say them,
Yeah.
So I was like, that feels very American. Um, like to weigh things, just to your liking that day. But yeah, no real relevance of it being in 1968 specifically. Plot driving.
The movie also, I don't know, who knows how much this was really affected, but in the late 2010s, especially with Stranger Things, you have this kind of resurgence of these kind of like Stand By Me, Hook, kind of like, kids, the original It, like a
Mhm.
bunch of kids just getting into some shit,
Yeah.
Goonies, I suppose, as well. Um, so I was thinking like I think chronologically, I think it lines up where it's you got Stranger Things and then the new It movie and
Hmm.
this, and then even that Child's Play reboot that we won't cover, like has that same sort of like a bunch of kids get together to, you know,
But what I think I like about this one versus the others that you just mentioned is they really have no way to fight what is coming after them. Like they're mostly just running. Like there's no point of like, oh, we're gonna kick some ass and get our plans set and our walkie-talkies ready. Like there's not that feeling to it. It's more so like they're
they
a younger
literally
group,
speak via walkie-talkie in the
but they
first
don't
20
use
minutes.
they don't use them as like devices to go, like have you watched Stranger Things?
The first two seasons, yes.
Okay. I personally think it's very overrated. Maybe a hot take. I know they have a new season coming soon, and I'll see it through. I'll finish it. But I think it's very overrated. And part of it is because, like, I feel like they're always like going to war and I don't care. So, this I think does a better job of them just they're reacting to things. They're not being proactive and going to battle. So, that's, I think, a big difference.
I think it's Stranger Things. It's probably like, it shifts a little less from the horror and more to the Dungeons and Dragons-ness of it, you know? Maybe
And
that's where it
it's like
comes from. I don't know.
sci-fi, it's like
Yeah,
sci-fi horror fantasy.
right.
Yeah.
With like 80s nostalgic, needle drop moments.
Yeah.
So where were we in the story? So basically, they were preparing that Tommy was going to go fuck with them. So you remember those
Mhm.
pieces of poop that Chuck was? Turns out
Oh yeah.
he had a purpose for them.
Oh yeah.
Um, Fucking dangerous too. So like
I know.
they use the a decoy bag of candy as bait,
Hmm.
right? So he drives
Smart.
by, grabs it, and they do the whole thing, and they throw a flaming bag of shit inside his car.
It goes right in his lap.
It's poop. He called the shit poop. You remember that? Oh,
Yeah.
I love Billy Madison. It's so good. So, which I mean, of course, pisses them off. They didn't really have like a follow-up plan to this because they chase each
Yeah.
other
They should have
and
ran right after that poop got thrown. Go
oh yeah,
get out of there before he even realizes what's going on.
yeah, like they needed to figure out like where's a spot we can like hide and like duck out like real
Hmm.
quick where you can't find us.
Hmm.
Um, so it's Tommy and it's Ruth and some of the other dudes that they were hanging out with, and like Ruth is like, "What the fuck? We're supposed to go. You gonna take me out or something? What were we doing? What are we
He
doing
was
here?"
never going to take her out. She is all dressed up like they're going out to dinner, and he's wearing the same fucking jeans and t-shirt and varsity jacket that he was beating up Harold in. So I
Yeah.
don't think he had grand plans for her.
So let's see. So they managed to escape, and this is where they connect with Ramon, who is um, sitting in a drive-through alone, or drive-in, sorry,
Hmm.
watching Night of the Living Dead.
Hmm.
I like how they sneak like right into his car, and at first it's Stella, and he's like, "Hey, what's
Hey.
up, girl? How you
Yeah.
living?"
He's like, this is fine.
And then the other two get in, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in the back of
Yeah.
my car? Who the hell are you?"
I
Yeah,
feel like that's a perfect reaction for a teenage boy.
yeah, yeah. So, Tommy finds them, says some racist shit to Ramon, says some shit about Stella's mom who went missing and
Hmm.
says it's her
Another
fault.
plot I don't give a shit about.
Doesn't matter.
We don't care.
Um, but gets bullied away by, and this is where the person I related to most is the middle-aged guy who was like, "Bro, we're
Hey.
watching the fucking movie, dude. Get the fuck out, man. What are you doing?" Like, fucking kids, man. Get
You
get
know
the
you're
fuck
old
out of
when
here.
you
Yeah.
relate to the random extra that's like,
Yeah.
this is drive-in. Get out of here.
I was like, that dude looks like he's my age. He's like, I relate. I'm just trying to watch Night of the Living Dead.
It's
It's
like I'm
1968.
too old to get drafted. I'm just living my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Go off to Vietnam, dude, and let that sort itself out. Oh my gosh. But so Stella's a little shook from that, and I think
Hmm.
with anything where their mom's a trigger.
Yeah.
But she's like, Stella, you gotta fucking compose yourself. You
Hmm.
just met a cute fucking boy, and you
Hmm.
are not going to let this opportunity escape you. So she comes right over and just like, "I want to check out a haunted house."
Yeah. Good girl.
Dude, if I was like in high school, if some girl fucking walked up to me and said like, "I want to go to a haunted house," the answer should
It
probably be
should be
no.
no. Yeah.
But oh yeah,
You'd be like, girl, you getting spooky with me?
love that. It's my favorite quality in a woman is her spookiness.
Spookiness.
100%. So they make their way to the Bellows Mansion, which has been boarded up for years. And
Hmm.
and this is where they kind of give the story, right? Or at least the first piece of this story,
Hmm.
where you got the Bellows family that owned these paper mills in the area. They also, by the way, had like a secret daughter who they locked away. And kids were just like, who the fuck is this fucking kid? So like, you would have kids going and trying to circle around the house trying to get a
Hmm.
glimpse of this girl, right?
Yeah.
But they could never see her, but could hear her through the walls. And she, I guess, would just tell them spooky stories like through the
Love
walls.
that for her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, so we'll learn a little bit more about the Bellows family as we
Hmm.
continue. Um,
Which also, just to further shit on this Sarah Bellows story, if you're telling a story within a movie that's a sequence of stories from a book that you love, like of different types of stories. I mean, there's some duds in there, don't get me wrong, but you'd think that they would craft a better story to be the new story that you're getting from this movie, but I'm not buying it.
know what I would have come up with, to be
No.
honest, off the top of my
I
head,
can't think
is
of
a
anything better. So I mean, I'm not going to count that against the movie too much, but because it's not like not a deal breaker, but it's not my favorite.
I guess I guess how I kind of see it is that if I watched a movie about, like, you get rid of the book entirely and it is
Hmm.
about this girl and it takes place 100 years prior, and she haunts her family afterwards and this whole thing and gets committed in an asylum and all the things, I'd be like, that'd probably be a pretty watchable two boo movie,
Yeah.
probably.
Hmm.
So that's where I kind of land, where I'm like, it's good enough. It gets us there. I feel like it's a little extra. Like you said, I was like, we can
Yeah.
just figure out some reason. So let the fucking book be evil. We've seen Evil Dead. Books can just be fucking evil. You
Books
just
can
bound them
books
in some
are often evil is what we've learned from horror movies.
yeah. Funny quote from Chuck later on about that. And so while they're exploring, they happen to find a secret passage because come on, they all got to have one, right?
Hmm.
So this leads to basically a dungeon situation downstairs
Oof.
where they've
Rough.
been hiding Sarah.
Child abuse.
They snoop around and come across a book of scary stories
Leave
belonging
that
to
alone.
Scara. Yeah, I said Scara.
Ooh, I love Scara. If my
uh,
name was Sarah, I would refer to myself as Scara.
so they find this book, and here we fucking go, Natalie.
Bad news.
Stella just already going too far from the get-go, opening
Hmm.
this book, reading from it.
Also, we forgot to mention she is a writer.
She is a writer, yes.
Hmm.
And literally, like, doesn't even just read from the book. She like conjures Sarah. She's like,
Yeah,
Sarah, tell me a story.
yeah.
I'm like,
You're
what the
like,
fuck are you fucking doing?
you've got her book of stories right in your fucking hands. Read yourself a story, bitch. To yourself, not out loud or in Latin.
Tommy and Ruth show up to find them, and
Oh, Tommy's pissed.
Tommy's pissed. Ruth is like, come on, let's get the fuck out of here. Can we please just go on a date? I don't know why
Hmm.
she thinks this is gonna continue well. So he's a dick and says, get the fuck out, and just kicks her down into the dungeon and locks the door. So Ruth is with
Hmm.
them now. Um, just, geez. As soon as she, summons some shit from this book, the door, of course, magically unlocks,
Hmm.
and they all leave to go home. Um, Not before finding out that Tommy, on his way out, like absolutely fucked up Ramon's car. And like you said, wrote some racial slurs on it. You're like,
Oof.
Jesus Christ, buddy.
Yeah.
But again, Stella's just like, this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm I'm surprised she didn't do it to get him to trick him to come home.
I
And
know.
and
She did.
she's like, you can stay with me in my place, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a big deal.
I love that.
She's known this person for literally like an hour, which is
Ob
awesome.
Obviously, she's like crushing hard on him, but
Yeah.
it's funny because when I was watching this and I was processing this, I'm like, okay, they're like, we'll presume 17, 18, so definitely of an age where like they definitely could be sexually active. And she invites him over and she's like, oh, you can sleep in the basement. But then he goes up to her bedroom and I was like, why did you even go? Why were you even in that bedroom? I would have been like, you know what? You just stay in here. It's fine. I'm not gonna hit that creepy ass basement. Did you see that basement?
I would not want to stay in that basement, but I guess it'd be a place to sleep, I suppose.
Yes, it would be a place to sleep, but I'd be like, why don't you like sleep on the floor at
This
least?
that basement looks like it was at the Bellows
It
house,
does. It looks like it's part of the haunted fucking house. Like,
right?
Sarah, clean up your basement before you start having boys over there. Get out of here.
And she's like, "Hey, cute mystery boy, you can stay with me. Dad's asleep. Don't even worry about it."
Yeah.
Um, so at home, Stella keeps fucking with that fucking book and looking through the stories and finds one that Natalie has written in fresh fucking ink.
Blood.
Blood ink.
You can tell by the stickiness.
And this one's called Harold. So this is where we get our first story with Tommy. Remember that scarecrow he was fucking with?
Yeah.
Harold? Oh boy, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah. They start us off with a famous one.
Yeah. What'd you think of this interpretation of it?
It's definitely different than the story of Harold in the book. So I read it. So this one is from Scary Stories 3. So they skipped all the way to the last book. Um, I really like this one. One, I actually really like Tommy as a bully overall. Like he does a really good job of making you hate him. And he's believable as a 1960s bully. Like he feels like a real person to me. So I like the character of Tommy for that purpose. And I think they did a really awesome fucking job. I don't know if you look like you've seen that illustration of Harold a million times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And his face looks so good. I think
Yeah.
they did such a good job on the creature design. And my only gripe with Tommy versus Harold is,
Mhm.
we get that really cool scene of seeing him with the straw coming out of him. He's turning into a scarecrow. So if Tommy is now the scarecrow, if he's Harold, where's Harold? Where'd he go?
Just
Is he
some
free? Is he a human now? Did he go to
he's
Vietnam?
he's just some little naked boy running through town.
But like that was my only question of like what the fuck happened to Harold? Is he's just free of his curse of being a scarecrow? I
I
think it's
think
really
so.
effective. I remember when I saw this scene I was like, "Okay, I feel like I know what kind of movie I'm in for." What do you think of it?
I mean, like it's kind of brutal. Like this teenager gets like a fucking pitchfork through his fucking back and it comes out through his
Yeah.
chest. That's a lot. But like, we were saying that, they were trying to mitigate or just get rid of as much blood as possible. I
Mhm.
thought I thought this was very effective without blood.
Yes.
Having the fucking straw come out of his mouth and
Oof.
shit,
Oh.
nothing. It's that because like straw,
Oh,
like
the
hay
feeling
and shit
of it.
is like it's sharp. It hurts. It's
It's
like
dry,
that
it's itchy,
dry.
it pokes you.
Yeah. So I thought that
Mhm.
was pretty effective. It looked good when it was all coming out of his face.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I will admit, I did not remember the original story of Harold, and I can see why they went in a different direction. I think they did a really great job of changing a very famous story. But if you don't recall what happens in the original story of Harold, I'll keep it short. Two guys make a scarecrow. The scarecrow comes to life. It ends with one of the farmers seeing his other farmer friend's skin being held up on top of the roof of the barn for Harold's laying it out to dry in the sun. So I'm assuming he's going to wear that skin like Leatherface style, but that's the
Yeah.
original story. So
That's fucked up.
that probably wouldn't have worked for PG-13, but
But it was okay for a book like that says like for 8 to
for
12.
children. I know. Well, that was the only one that my son was like, that's pretty scary, but still scarecrows aren't a threat to me in Southern California. So
Mm.
um I I thought that was a fun little twist that of how they worked this story.
So so the next day Stella learns that Tommy's missing. They go and see the scarecrow that's wearing Tommy's clothes.
I
And
love it.
she's pretty quick to be like,
That's
this is
Tommy.
all right, y'all. This is Tommy. This is exactly what's happening. This book is writing our stories. I don't know what's going on. I need to put this fucking thing right the fuck back where I found it.
Mhm.
But we know that's not gonna work. We've
And
seen this.
this is before she sees the book writing the story like live. It was just freshly written when she found the Herald story, correct?
Yeah, it's Augie's
Okay.
story that she sees getting written in real time.
Yes, yes. But so she
Um,
buys into this idea real quick.
yeah, this doesn't work because fucking she's back at home. Ramon meets her there, and he pulls the fucking book right off her fucking bookshelf. And she's like, "Where the fuck did you find that?" And he's like, "I don't know." Spooky. That's just, yeah, it's like it's same thing. It's like whether it's like
You're
Chucky or whether
cursed
it's
now.
whatever anything is fucking cursed. You can't just go out and just throw it away. You can't just go put it back. It's shit's gonna
Yeah.
magically find its way right back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Tale is
Got to
old
find a
as time.
solution.
Yeah. So, geez. Now, like we mentioned, they open the book and they see that a story is being written in blood in real time. This
Mm-hmm.
one's called The Big Toe, and the main character has happened to be named Augie.
Oh, Augie.
I mean, Augie had to die next because, I remember when she came to like Chuck and Augie at school being like, hey, you know, I think this is what's happening. Like, Chuck wasn't really buying it, but like was still like, "Phew, okay, this is
Well,
spooking me
he
out."
saw, so remember when Chuck was in the haunted house, we forgot about this, when he hid in that wardrobe to scare Augie, he
Right.
saw like a vision of the house when it was new with the old woman in the veil and the dog. So he was more inclined to believe Sarah because of that, but he's still like, I don't know if we have all the details nailed down, but Augie is like in complete disbelief. So it did logically make sense that he'd be next.
Yeah, because he's the skeptic. And
Hmm.
geez, so now we've got Augie and the Big Toe. Now this one is it's still they both in like the story it's based on and the segment both involve a stew that has a big toe in it.
Yep.
I feel bad for Augie because like I'm not calling Jeff dad, mom.
I know, I love that.
Aw. And and she's like, you didn't get me any food. And they left on some vacation, just left him there. And I thought it was interesting. He was like, oh, well, I'm gonna have this stew. And then you imagine her saying on the other end, like, I didn't make any fucking stew. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, stew's here, so I'm eating it. Cold. Right out of the fucking
Yeah, ugh.
right out of the pot
Gross.
cold
Maybe
in
he
the
would have
fridge.
noticed the toe if he fucking heated that shit up on the oven.
Oh, jeez.
Saw it floating.
Yeah. Yeah, they call him on their walkie-talkies and they're just like,
Hmm.
"Bro, this is happening." And he doesn't believe him at first, but like shit obviously starts popping off.
Real fast.
Um yeah. What'd you think about this part?
This one is probably my least favorite. It's also not one of my favorite stories. So this is from Scary Stories 1. It's the first story in Scary Stories 1. Um the only thing that they changed from this story is instead of a man, it's a woman in the movie. And in the other part of the story that they changed, which is so weird, is that a little boy finds a toe in like a garden or in the dirt and brings it in the house. And his mom's like, perfect, let's throw that in the stew. I'm sorry, what?
Knowing that it's a toe?
Knowing it's a fucking toe. So the family's already weird to begin with. And then pretty much the same situation happens, except you don't have an end. Like it's just like you have my toe. And then that's how the story ends. Like, dragging around, where's my big toe? Whatever. So this is the least scary one because how many times have we seen somebody get dragged underneath a bed in like YA horror? Um,
Yeah.
so probably the least effective for me overall. How about you? What do you think of it?
And I think the creature design probably isn't
Eh,
as, take it or leave it compared to the
yeah.
others.
Hmm.
Um
They had no inspiration for the creature either because there's no illustration of this creature. So they got to just kind of come up with what they wanted.
yeah. So like when like she does reveal herself like under the bed, it's all CGI. It's like, I'm not
Hmm.
really buying it.
Yeah.
But they were spending so much goddamn time on those walkie-talkies talking to Augie, and then Stella's like, "Let's go. He's only a couple blocks away." I'm like, "You needed
Girl,
to go there
you should
much
be
earlier.
talking to him on the walkie while you're running over there. You
The
better not
reception would
walkie
only
over
get
there.
stronger the closer you get, right?"
Yeah.
y'all need to be like, hey, hold on, we need to start power walking at least over to
Hmm.
his place. Like maybe cut through a couple lawns if we need to do that to get to him.
Absolutely. Hop some
Like,
fucking fences, girl. Get your
yeah.
cardio going.
Stella rightfully blames herself, the
Hmm.
next day.
She
And
absolutely should. This is all her fault.
all of this is her fault.
100%.
Literally just could have been left there.
Didn't even have to go to the house.
Didn't have to go to the house,
She
didn't
tried to be
have to
spooky and sexy.
take the book. Yeah, tried to be to try to be too spooky and too sexy. But I don't want that to be the like cautionary tale part because I don't know.
Kyle's like, no, no.
All
All the
that's
la-
good.
all the ladies listening, please be spooky and sexy.
Yeah. Because yeah, 100%. Like in high school, this would absolutely work for me.
Yeah.
And as an adult, but with an adult aged woman. Um, so the group convenes. You've got Ramon, you've got Chuck, and you've got Ruth, and trying to figure out what the game plan is. Um, the absolute worst line in this movie is when Stella goes, "You don't read the book. The book reads you." And I'm like,
That makes
that
no sense.
like okay, because maybe because it like literally only for like kind of Ramon and kind of Chuck, a little bit more Chuck, like
Hmm.
the horror that befalls them is like based off something they brought up being afraid of already.
Yes,
So I guess.
but not really.
Yeah. So, but they're like, let's not go to the police. Fuck that. Let's I do appreciate they're like, let's try to just set the book on fire. Like,
Yeah,
like
try it. Always try.
I think that they should have worked out like, okay, here's what are a couple different options in terms of how to stop this thing. Now, granted, I know I'm saying this like it's all after the fact, right? But I think if you and I were in a situation like this, and if we were just like, okay, let's just sit down, let's think about this, even before doing any research on Sarah Bellows or whatever, I keep
Mhm.
wanting to see Sarah Bareilles. Um, and the Haunted Tale of Sarah Bareilles. And I feel like at least give me a little bit of time, and I feel like I would have gotten to at least suggesting this is an evil book that writes stories.
Mhm.
Do you think writing a story could undo this, or could
Hmm.
like let's think about this
That's a
before
good
we
solution.
well, and it ends up being the solution
Hmm.
to some extent, but I just
Yeah.
wouldn't know what I need to be writing about.
Yeah. What would
But
you write?
so I wish they would have. It'd be nice a montage of like other ways they tried to destroy the book. I think would have been fun.
Oh
Um,
yeah. You know what another thing that maybe could have worked. I know it didn't work in the moment. So when Augie's story is being written, or maybe it's when Chuck's story is being written, Sarah is trying to tear out pages. I mean,
mhm.
at some point there's going to be no pages left. So where or I'm sorry, Stella was ripping out pages. Where's Sarah going to write a story if there's no pages left in this book? Like, then what?
I think they just regrow or something, like a lizard's tail or something. I did
That would have been fun to watch.
I did think it was funny when, they once the fire's done and ashes settled and they see that the book is still there in the same condition, Chuck goes, "This is why I don't read books."
Yeah,
And I was
I
like,
felt that.
yeah.
Yeah, love Chuck for that.
Now we're off to the research montage.
Oh,
So
a long one.
it's a long one. Love this, just, going through the records archives or whatever, either at the
Hmm.
library or at City Hall. I don't know exactly where they were, but um, you learn that Sarah hung herself
Hmm.
and her family or Sarah Bellows
Hmm.
Bareilles, and her family disappears like days after. Like just like doesn't like just get up and leave. Like they just
Disappears.
vanish, gone.
Hmm.
With no trace of who the house goes to or the paper mill or who's running the paper mill.
Mhm.
Nothing. They just vanished.
Which
And
means
then
she figured out that ghost shit real fast.
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, because she also finds that the family members' names, each of the family members have a story that has a character with
Hmm.
that name already in this book.
Yep.
So, uh-oh, looks like fucking Ghost Sarah is getting some revenge here.
Hmm.
They realize then that it's starting to write a story again, and this one's called The Red Spot, and your main character is Ruth.
Hmm.
Now, when they were
Probably
talking
the most
about,
famous.
yeah, right. I mean, it was certainly the one, that I brought up just stuck out the most with me. It's just it's
Hmm.
it's that mix of I hate fucking spiders and I hate um watching like zits and pimples be popped.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people like
People
what
get
there's
real
like
into it. There's
and watch
shows.
oh my God, stop. Any
Hmm.
of that is just fucking terrible. I just
It's a
don't have
lot.
this I don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
It's so awful. Um, it just because it's all just on you just can't get locked into that algorithm on social media where
Oh,
you'll just
if you watch one, the internet is like, "Oh my gosh, you love these. Watch them, all of them."
no. So then this is where we get to this version with Ruth, who's preparing for some musical that she's in, but it's like
Mhm.
not even like a red spot at this point. It's like a fucking full on like boil like on her
Oof. Yeah.
like face. Um, Good news for her understudy though. Fucking,
I know being an understudy must be so rough because you're like, gosh, I don't want anything terrible to happen to this person, but their
uh,
misfortune could be my best day ever.
this could be my time to shine.
Yeah.
Um, and from the looks of it, it looks like that she might be the permanent replacement. Not that Ruth dies, but I don't know why Ruth gets institutionalized from this.
I think that's probably very much of the times because
Yeah.
what I will say is a little disappointed in Ruth because she gets bit by the spider at the house that night.
Hmm.
Like it's one of the first things that happens is she gets bit by the spider. So she knew it was a spider bite, not a zit. But she kept treating it like it was a pimple, covering it in makeup, and like, girl, I know you didn't have WebMD or anything like that, but if you get bit by something and it's getting bigger and more painful, you probably should get that checked out. So I'm disappointed in her for that.
Especially on your face, because your face is so close to
Mm.
your brain. And
Yeah,
I don't,
venom. Ooh.
no, thank you. Um, Yeah, so they find her after fucking this fucking giant lump just explodes into spiders crawling all over her.
Mhm.
Um at the end they're just like we don't know what the fuck to do. Oh my gosh. It was Chuck was like my sister's gone and
I
I'm
know.
like,
I was like,
"Well,
dude, she's
no,
alive. So
you,
there's
you can
that.
visit
I
her."
I will say, I think I don't think any of the acting is bad in this movie. I actually think the acting is quite good. But I think Ruth's reaction to these spiders and how she looks afterwards with all the bites all over her and like saying get them
Oof.
off me. I think that is some of the best acting in this movie. She is selling it to me. Like that is like thousands of spiders crawling all over you, biting you. I wouldn't even know what to do. Um and I just really enjoy that the story got to stay the same. Ruth is still alive, but yeah, she's a hot fucking mess. That would be pretty traumatizing.
How was it supposed to kill her if that's like the point of each of these stories?
I don't know that it is supposed to kill all of them. I mean, maybe if they didn't intervene and wash the spiders off of her, she would just get bit to death. That
So that
happened?
would lit so that would literally be the only story from Sarah where the person doesn't die,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, still, pretty rough fate
Mm-hmm.
if you end up being locked away all the rest of your life for that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Gosh, who's left? We got Chuck, we got Ramon, we've got Stella, and then they find Lulu Baptiste. who is the only surviving person connected to the Bellows and worked on their property with her mother, like 1868. I was like,
They were
when I say when I say work, I mean like I think they were slaves.
they were definitely slaves. So that time and racially and the wealth that it looked like the Bellows had, I would say
Yeah,
yes.
because they don't say it.
Mm-mm.
But I'm like, I think you could probably add that up.
Yeah.
You've got, I guess you've got a little bit of this like kind of borderline, that trope of like the mysterious, mystical black person that,
Mm-hmm.
helps the white person,
Mm-hmm.
figure out this and this and
And
this and
she's
this.
blind?
Yeah, just like the old lady Bellows is, right?
Yeah.
Or like her eyes are all white and shit. So I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
sure unless I missed something. Um, they were like, "Did you teach her black magic? Because everyone says that you taught her some spooky shit, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "We didn't teach her shit. I can tell you that
Mm-hmm.
right the fuck
She's
now."
like, that's a fucking racist ass narrative.
Yeah, that is a fucking narrative I refuse to fucking
Uh-huh.
entertain. I'll tell you right now, that white woman's fucking rage is what caused all of this. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And I'd say valid rage.
It is valid rage, but I mean, she takes it out on people that don't deserve it, which is not nice. The interesting thing about Lulu, so she sings the first two lines of a song
Like you're
called
coming next, or
the Hearse song.
hmm
Um, it's kind of a poem, but so that it's from Scary Stories 1. I thought it was really cool that they like threw that in there, but it's it's probably about like 15 lines long, and it's literally like, don't laugh when a hearse goes by, you might be the next to die. And then it goes into the whole process of what happens to your body after you die. Like, it's like you get wrapped up in a white sheet and then you get put in a coffin and then your coffin starts to leak and then bugs start eating you. And like it goes through that whole thing. It is real fucking dark. Again, for 8 to 12 year olds.
yeah, or just like a little too accurate.
Just yeah, like it's so real that like kids are probably like, damn, like these stories are really fantastical. Like that sounds outrageous. And meanwhile, as an adult, you're like, oh no, that shit's true.
And those worms are going through your fucking face in and out.
Hmm.
Yep. So they also find out from Lulu that Sarah did not die hanging herself at the house.
Hmm.
Like it was purported that she did.
Hmm.
So they're like, okay, she allegedly was at this hospital. Let's go to this hospital, see if we can look through some records, figure out what else we can learn. Um, Now, I don't know if that was against the law in 1968, for like HIPAA, compliance and,
Hmm.
and shit. But
I
yeah,
would
maybe
assume that HIPAA was more recently.
in 1968, yeah, maybe, probably. So they get there. Stella and Ramon investigate the records room. Chuck is like, I'm good because the records room is called the Red Room. And he's like, nah, I've been having some weird dreams, by the way, of a red room and a fucking pale, creepy ass fucking lady, which is all it is just setting up that this is what his story is going to be.
Hmm.
So he's like, so thank you, but no thank you. But really, I'm like, Chuck, I think ultimately splitting yourself up from the rest of the group is the worst decision you can make.
Yeah, like however scared you are, just be with the other two at least, because no matter what's coming for you, like it's either going to separate you
Yeah.
against your will, or there's a chance that two people could help you against whatever you might be facing. And by the way, HIPAA was enacted in 1996.
Oh, geez. Ooh.
I mean, who knows? There were probably rules still, but HIPAA as it is now.
They find all of these records on Sarah Bellows, and they learn that she had albinism,
Hmm.
which is that it's like a rare kind of genetic thing where,
It's
you
the
know,
absence of pigment.
Right, so like you have like white hair, you have very pale
Hmm.
skin. Um,
Can have white
and
eyes, eyelashes.
I don't know, I didn't think that was a thing. They'd be like, "Oh, sorry, we got to lock you up for this. You're
I
too
mean,
much."
maybe in 1968, like anything that was different in the past, people were fucking like, witch.
Yeah.
And I
I
mean,
know,
like this
yeah.
case, like maybe later.
So so they find out that because of this, well, they locked her down, in the basement, fed her fish heads or whatever for a while. And so what they did is they sent her to Penhurst Asylum, which
Hmm.
is a real asylum.
Hmm.
Obviously no longer operating, and
Hmm.
that's in Pennsylvania. Now they like open it up for like, like Halloween events. Like I think you can like go to
Oh, that's
Penhurst like
cool.
during Halloween,
Okay.
and they do a whole thing. But I remember walking through once, I broke in once and
Wow.
walked
Okay.
through and
That's a way to get murdered.
yeah, 100%. I know. But wasn't thinking, but I ended up okay. Now, this is where like this they kind of add more wrinkles to Sarah's story where like now it's like I think an unnecessary addition where so the
Hmm.
kids that would come by and like hear her tell stories through the walls, those kids kept disappearing and they blamed it on Sarah and her witchcraft and got her
Hmm.
institutionalized for it. Also, her brother works at this institution. Doesn't have to.
Hmm.
She could still get a revenge on her family,
Yeah.
for
Could have
putting
been
there to
anybody.
begin with. So he's doing electric shock therapy on her, and then records it on vinyl because it's like we want evidence of this for some reason. Um, but these kids, I guess, kept disappearing.
Hmm.
But it's not because of Sarah
Hmm.
being a witch.
Gets real convoluted.
And she's not, yeah, it's because the the paper mill was putting mercury in the water and
Hmm.
poisoning the children. And I guess they were just dumping bodies and hiding all the kids or something. And then when people started getting wise and started following, the trail evidence to the house, they blame it on Sarah,
Hmm.
put her in the thing, whole situation. And yeah, I
It's a lot. It's a lot of story.
what and then also too like I mean there's all this evidence down here like I don't know for 100 years no one else would have thought even just out of like interest in like the story obviously there's no HIPAA yet so I'm like
Hmm.
I don't
I mean,
know.
it would have been like if it's killing children, it would at least be giving adults some sort of health ailments.
Yeah,
So you'd think that eventually somebody would be able to figure out that it's the water.
I thought it was pretty neat where like in the recording you have her brother talking to Sarah and then Sarah like stops and goes, let me tell you a story
Hmm.
about a boy named Charles, which is
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was pretty cool. And they were like, oh, fuck, it's happening again.
Yeah,
Because I don't even know.
that was pretty fun.
I don't think they even like check the book much anymore at this point. But
Yeah.
yeah, so a story about Chuck and a pale lady.
Mm,
So Chuck's fucked.
yeah.
Not good. He is avoiding some medical staff, but then finds himself basically in a situation where, the alarms go off and then all the lights in the hallway just turn red.
Hmm.
Um,
So the red room was going to be wherever he was.
Yeah. And I think this is probably one of my favorite creature designs and
Yeah,
the effects because it looks
she's
almost
best.
all practical here
Yeah.
with the pale lady and she looks
Yeah,
great. Even
she
it's a
does.
little weird like kind of just like hugging him and absorbing him.
Yeah,
But
I
like she's
agree.
fucking Kirby or something.
Oh, yeah, but she didn't turn into like a Chuck-shaped pale lady.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like this creature design a lot. She looks almost identical to the illustration, which is really fun. Like, I think this movie does what a lot of other movies, especially movies based on video games, cannot. And they took some things and changed it to be different, but the things that they knew were important, they were like, it's not broken. Let's let's not fix it. Let's leave it the way it is, exactly how it is. And this creature design, I think, is a perfect example of that. One of the things that's interesting, also, this is from The Dream, which is in Scary Stories 3 as well. They really went for a lot of the ones from the 90s. But one of the weird things about the pale lady, so because Chuck says he's having these dreams, the one of the writers of this film said that the reason why she like hugs him and absorbs him and like has that like warming smile the whole time is because it's like a metaphor for his overbearing mother. And I was like, I feel like Augie's mom was more like, because remember she was like up fixing his costume like from the crotch area and he was like all embarrassed like because she's like, you know, just helping him out with his costume and everything. I guess Chuck gets a little bit of that too. So I didn't really understand why that was there, but I didn't mind him hugging or him her hugging him to death and absorbing him.
Yeah, the only time Chuck's mom is in this movie is, he storms out and he's like, I said Spider-Man, not man spider. To which I'm
Yeah.
like, you waited to put on the whole costume to realize you weren't Spider-Man?
And did not have 8 legs.
Or he just wanted to like just be really dramatic and make that statement. So he's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put on this whole costume, come out here and be like, how dare you, mother? And to which, her poor fucking mom, like making these costumes for them, like
No.
goes like, hey, be thankful for what you got, come on.
Also, that is kind of funny that Chuck was dressed up as a spider when
Right.
Ruth, his sister, was the one bit by the spider. Kind of
Mm.
funny. But yeah,
So
I like it. I like this story sequence.
so long, Chuck. Stella and Ramon, realizing that they're the only two left, go to the police with this book, to this racist ass sheriff that we knew from earlier.
I thought they got
She
arrested
calls. Oh, do they?
because they got
Okay.
busted in the institution.
That's why I must have looked away taking notes. So yeah, so they
Yeah.
get busted, they get taken in. Um, Stella calls her dad to be just fucking cryptic. Like if my like fucking like 15-year-old kid called me and was just being all dodgy with fucking answers, like just being like,
No.
just if I go missing, just know that, I did this and this and I'm like, who are you fucking with? And she's like, it doesn't matter. This and this and this. You'd be like, he's like, where the fuck are you? Like,
Yeah.
what? Why are you acting this way? Like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Like, I
I
get
think
why,
the
right? The
dad
haunted book situation, but
I think the
yeah,
dad is actually like way too chill. I almost feel like they
yeah.
wrote the dad as an alcoholic and they were like, "Oh, that's a little too dark. Maybe we should just make him a workaholic," because she mentions him working a lot. But like him falling asleep in front of the TV and her tucking him in and like things like that, the mom leaving, like it feels very like dad's an alcoholic and we don't want to say that.
Like
Uh
Ryan Philippe in that one movie where he plays saxophone. You know what I'm talking about?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wish
Wish
upon.
Upon. That's the one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't this phone call, I would be fucking losing it. I'd be like, I'm gonna need fucking specifics of where you are because I'm gonna tell you right now, your mom is not gonna let you go missing. Whoever you're with is about to be missing. Give me your fucking coordinates.
Though I will lob it back to him and put it back on him to be like, hey, your next phone call probably should have been the police, to which they would say, yeah, we got her right here.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely true. You're right.
But he's just like, oh
He's
well.
like, well, guess that's parenting.
Yeah. I guess I'll go pick up another shift. Um, so we also find out, that gasp, Ramon is a draft dodger.
Dun dun
Maybe.
dun.
And with valid reasons.
Yeah,
He's
fuck
like,
that
look,
shit.
yeah, like I don't know if I can come back dead. And then also like, granted, I'm sure well, all the things we know about the Vietnam War now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real. There were a lot of people even at that time that knew like this is bullshit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we getting fucking involved with this? Why do we cause this whole fucking situation?
Mm-hmm.
And just the gruesome ways that fucking a lot of fucking people were killed,
Yeah.
um, American and Vietnamese. And so I don't blame Ramon for that.
No, absolutely
He's not,
not.
it's not like
I
he'd
would
like
hide
lie. Yeah.
I would hide my son if there was a draft and he was of age. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping. I think,
I know.
yeah. Um, so Ruth, and then we also learned, yeah, that Ruth is now like at like Penhurst or maybe that, at some other insane asylum. Just because that's what you get for having spiders in your face.
That's what you get for being terrified of thousands of spiders biting you simultaneously, Ruth. You you nut job.
Yeah. So the sheriff is like, this seems as good a grounds as any to lock you up. So he does. Um, and then the book starts writing itself again.
No.
This one called The Jangly Man, starring Ramon. So I thought at first I was like, oh, the sheriff opened the book. Now he's gonna get a story. Like that's how
I
he's
know.
gonna
I was
die.
kind of excited for him to get a story.
And a part of me was like, well, they're not gonna kill Ramon yet. So I'm just like, hold on. I was ready to be like, this book is not doing it in order. Like, what the fuck? You can't
Mm-hmm.
just like kill this guy. But much like Michael Myers, like I mentioned at the beginning, this jangly man doesn't seem to care. Whoever's just in his way, bam,
Yeah.
snap your neck. Next. So
I'm I like that the dog does not end up being a victim of the jangly man.
I agree. Dog just
Hmm.
gets the fuck out. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah. This is an interesting one because so both of these, it's two stories that they combined
Mm.
because he says that me to, what does he say? Me Tai Doti Walker
Me
is what
tie
he's
a
saying.
donut walker. Yeah.
Like it's in the book the same way, but it's just a head that falls out of the chimney. Then there's another story that's called What Do You Come For? That has a bunch of body parts, but it's feet first coming
Yeah.
out of a chimney and it assembles itself as a weird man type figure. So I think they combined those two things. I think it's a very cool creature design. And I like that he just snaps the neck. But, anyways, but in the original story, the dog is the one that gets killed. So the
Aw.
dog dies in the written story, but not in this one. So I thought that was fun. Thought
So
you'd
it's an
appreciate that.
improvement.
It's an
Yeah.
improvement. Yeah.
They manage to escape and they agree to split up. Ramon is going to continue distracting the jangly man who's following him, and Stella is off to stop Sarah once and for all, somehow.
She'll figure it out.
Um, it is funny the jangly man just him just kind of just slapping his feet, stomping around like backwards, like
Yeah,
on like the
his
wet cement. It's pretty funny.
the way he moves is really interesting because he's almost like in a if you're familiar with yoga poses, he's in what's called like an upward bow, but then his head is turned like elsewhere. So like his like shoulders are like back, like he's walking like upward with his head completely turned sideways, which I'm like, dude, you could probably get around a lot faster if you just put yourself together better.
And just walked. Yeah, and just
Yeah, just
got in a,
fucking run. He had
yeah,
like muscular looking legs.
right. So Stella goes back to the Bellows mansion. I thought that was pretty funny how she like walks in and she's just like, God damn it, Sarah, stop telling these goddamn stories.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe yelling will work. I don't know.
Yeah, just try anything at this
Yeah.
point.
It doesn't, unfortunately.
No.
And Ramon kind of immediately abandons. I mean, he thinks he like, smashes the jangly man, but we already learned that he like fucking puts himself back together all the time.
Yeah.
So literally leads the jangly man right back to the fucking house,
Hmm.
where Sarah is. Sorry, Stella. My apologies. And but by this point, they can't see each other. It's a situation where like Stella's like stepped into like the ghost past
Hmm.
dimension to see like the house like as it was, when it was
Hmm.
newer. And you've got Ramon running through that same house being like, Stella, where the fuck are you? And then this thing is just fucking like, ah, geez, it's like those fucking things. I forget what you call them in Resident Evil
Crawlers.
2. Yeah.
Lickers.
Lickers. Yeah.
Hmm.
Those fuckers.
I I can't with them. They're so quiet, just on the ceiling and shit.
Yeah. You got to run in a room that's got a typewriter in it, and they will not bother you.
Yes.
You just wait there and decompress. Um, so she is again like walking around, but she is also like to everybody else that's in this like dimension like taken the form of Sarah,
Hmm.
right? So she inevitably gets caught and the ghost bellows throw her in her dungeon.
Jerks.
um Absolutely. And so she's like, I mean, I get it. She's pretty upset at this point. She's like, okay, like, and especially in remembering, I mean, it's yeah, Sarah's fault. Yes, sure, being like, like the demon ghost situation, vengeance and all. But this is still Stella's fault for fucking with an evil book.
Yes.
And she sees Ghost Sarah, just fucking has it out with her. She's like, I get it. I get it. Your family's fucked. I get it. I heard the fucking thing. But you doing this is fucking unhinged. Can you please fucking
Hmm.
stop? Like,
Yeah.
just because your fam like kill your whole fucking family. That's cool. I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
No issue. I just opened a book and
Yeah.
other people just happened to be by. Can we please
Yeah.
not fucking do
I
this?
appreciate that she uses logic to bring her down. She's like, "I'll tell your fucking story. I'll write it. I'm a
Just cut the
writer.
shit
Yeah.
out.
Let me give you a little
Yeah.
sample, a little taste."
See, she like whether it's, you know, getting getting cute with Ramon or seeing like a potential in for her like budding writing career.
Yeah.
She seems like the type to just seize opportunity, you know?
Yeah. I
So,
love that for her.
yeah. Um, Sarah's like, all right, fucking do it then. Fucking do it. Let me watch. Do it. You're gonna write my story? You
Yeah.
do it.
In
Gives
blood,
her
bitch.
in blood, bitch. Let's make this fucking count.
Yeah, make it official.
Here's a quill. You go fucking cut your finger and let's make this happen. You need a lot of blood because I've got a big story to tell.
Yeah, she's like the whole thing in blood. Be
I'm
lightheaded
I
by the end of this. Need a chocolate chip cookie and an apple juice.
I was just hoping it'd just be like, Sarah pacing back and forth, just dictating. You know? And then even like adding some like extra flourishes, like, and
Yeah.
Sarah was, actually the hottest one in the town and um had a great IQ and then also dated all of the fucking cutest boys, but she was too good for them. And
Yeah.
just a little cup extra. And she's like,
She's like, it is
fucking
a story.
Stella's like, is this necessary? And she's like, I'll fucking tell you right now, it's
I will
necessary.
kill more of your friends.
Yeah. So she writes the whole thing in blood. Sarah's like, all right, fine, I'll fucking stop. Fucking, does a little snap,
Fine.
or a little like
Yeah.
scream, and then the jangly man just falls apart and vanishes.
Hmm.
Ramon's okay. Um, Stella and Ramon are able to find each other. They embrace. The threat, as far as they know, is over.
Hmm.
Um, I think she goes and like writes like an article for like the local paper, being like, further kind of telling the story, but no one's
Hmm.
believing her anyway. Um, to which I would be like, I'd come back as Sarah and be like, no, 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 you can't just write the story. You need to fucking make people fucking believe. Like, let's, you know,
Yeah, she said some people believed her.
some people, yeah, I think I would
Mhm.
if I
Oh
read
yeah,
it. Yeah, I'd be
absolutely.
like,
Like a
yeah,
rich family, like
that
fucking up the
tracks,
water supply. Absolutely.
100%. Um, and then I guess Art Ramon completes his arc by going to Vietnam.
I hate that that's his
Yeah,
ending. Yeah, it's kind of I mean, I guess his other option is he would have just been arrested. Like what do they do? They just or they send you off anyway.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Ugh. So then, he's gone. But she's like, I'll write you
Hmm.
every day. And it's like, let's see. Hopefully you
It's a
come
lot of
back
work. Yeah.
in one piece. Yeah, and we'll see.
He's gonna be like the jingling man.
Yeah, Evie. Oof. Um,
Oh
the
shit,
movie.
I just realized he said that they sent his brother back in pieces.
Oh, right. That's his whole thing. Yeah, that's
Damn. I was just like going off of like the coward, like, and it was a story he used to hear, but I'm like, damn, dude, that's supposed to, oh man, talk about trauma.
brutal. It's a horror movie post 2010. How is it not about trauma, Natalie?
Yeah. Very true. Very
So
true.
the movie ends with this voiceover, bullshit about, the power of stories and,
Mm-hmm.
this and this
We
and
heard
this and
twice.
right. And her and Ruth, who they must have busted out of,
I assume they just got her released because they're like, hey, she's not crazy. Like,
yeah,
her mental health is fine. She just had a terrible experience.
right. So I guess Stella and Ruth and Dean Norris are like, I don't know what their plan is, but they're like out to, I don't know. Stella has this idea now that, like, I guess she can still rescue like Chuck and Augie.
Mm-hmm.
I like how she only mentions those two. Fuck the sheriff and fuck Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the sheriff was like we saw him die, whereas Augie and Chuck, she didn't see that how they went. She just read it.
Or Tommy.
So yeah, I she didn't care about Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy. But yeah, did you know that there was supposed to be a sequel for this movie? It was like in pre-production.
I'm surprised why there hasn't been. It made money.
Well, I think what from what I read, and also it was the the title was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark too, and I was like, could we not call it More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Or
Like
scary
the second
stories
book?
to tell in the dark.
Already,
To
two better
tell in,
titles.
yeah. Too fast, too furious, too scary, too dark.
But like, so it was in pre-production and they have like, um, you know, a cast like listed and everything, but then I guess COVID and the writer's strike like put that
Mm,
on pause and then there hasn't been any news about it since.
well, I feel like this would be a sequel that would show up on streaming or something. You
Yeah, for
know,
sure. It
yeah.
it didn't do as well, I think, as they needed it to in the box office either.
That's the end of our movie.
Hmm.
The only thing I was thinking I may have left out is back in Augie's story with the stew. Someone had to make that stew. So I could just imagine that like corpse lady just or someone just slaving over a stove, just
That's
get going
true.
going to the grocery store, getting all the veggies and the broth and the right spices, because who knows what Augie has in his parents' kitchen, right?
And there was
And
an
there was like a
eyeball in that stew.
full ass eyeball in there too. So I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Who made
The
that
corpse
stew?
lady's like, no, the eyeball, that's not me. I don't know how that got
She's
there,
like, I don't
but
know who the fuck that belongs to. I just need that big toe back.
I'm just here for the toe. It's a, it's interesting how, so you got your 5 digits on each hand, right? You've got your,
Hmm.
like, it depends who you ask, but it's like, it's your 4 fingers and a thumb.
Yeah.
And you have the equivalent of that, like one digit that's much larger, and then the four others. But the big toe doesn't get its own separate noun. You know what I mean? Toes,
I
there's 5 toes. You got 10
okay.
toes, 4 fingers, 2 thumbs.
No, I feel like we've had this discussion before, and I don't think it was on this podcast. We fought about this. You have five fucking fingers, Kyle. There are five fingers. Your thumb is a type of finger.
No one calls it my thumb finger. Like you would say your index finger, your ring finger, your middle finger, your pinky or your pinky finger. I don't know, but you don't say your thumb finger. That's
No
dumb.
one would say that. That sounds insane. But it is a
Exactly.
finger. You have 10 fingers. You don't have 8 fingers and two thumbs. I'm gonna need anyone who has listened to this episode this far, will you please tell us, do you have 10 fingers or do you have 8 fingers and two thumbs like a psychopath?
Let's move on. Natalie, what are the taglines for this movie?
This movie has two taglines. One is what I call a sales tagline.
If
So
it is the story, if it's you don't read the story reads you, I'm gonna throw up and just end
no,
this episode right now.
it
Okay.
it is not. I one website did have that listed as a tagline, but I could not find any proof of movie posters that said that. So perhaps in a trailer, maybe. Sometimes there's taglines and trailers, but I'm going off of written taglines. So the first one is based on the iconic book series, which is
Sure.
true, but also kind of boring. The second one is they're not just stories anymore, which I thought was fun.
I think but I feel like that's been used somewhere.
Probably. Yeah. But
Like,
those are your taglines. I think they could have come up with some fun stuff.
it's like I don't know why the first thing that comes to mind is that Brothers Grimm movie with Matt Damon and Heath Ledger. I
I've
feel
never
like,
seen that.
but I feel like the tagline for that movie would be like, they're not just stories, anymore.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
like, or even
It's
like for fucking
generic.
like Shrek. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a bit generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
booze scores. I've been going first, I think, for a couple episodes. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and do this.
I know. Why are you taking everybody's shine? Ooh, okay, this is hard because I did not plan a boost score, so I'm just going to talk my way through this and see where I land. I enjoy this movie. I do think it gives good spooky Halloween vibes. For PG-13 and it having no blood, the scares are effective. The creature designs are fun. And the nostalgia does go a long way for me with this, especially because they did such a great job with the creature design. And I like all of the characters. I actually am not like terribly annoyed by anybody. I think everybody's fine. Even your people who are supposed to be villains are like all serviceable characters. Some things that I don't like about this movie, it is a bit long. I think there are things they could have tightened up a little bit. The research montages, some of the time in the hospital, like we didn't need all of that because it feels the pacing is very uneven because once you start the stories, they're coming. Like they're hitting one after the other. But then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it just like takes a screeching halt into this Sarah Bellows story. And I feel like if we were going to take that much time, we could have spread out the scary stories a little bit more. And again, Sarah Bellows' story isn't really compelling to me. It's whatever. We could just leave that subplot of Stella's mom leaving unless it's going to tie into a sequel. Maybe that's where that was headed. We may never know. The music is fun for this. The only complaint I would have is the Season of the Witch is played out. I've never enjoyed that song. I take it off of every Halloween playlist. I don't like it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it in a
Wow.
trailer or a movie or credits. None of it. Um, Maybe a hot
I
take.
I disagree. I think it still works for me. Shout out Donovan, who also had a notable song in a movie we've covered. Do you know?
Yes, but no.
The Ricky Tikki Tavi song that Justin Long sings.
Yes, yes. That's a
Yeah,
fun song.
it's a fun one. And I like the Lana Del Rey version. It's such an obvious version, but I like it, and I like
I
Lana Del
like the
Rey.
Lana Del Rey version better, but it's still, yeah, I'm just sick of it. Um, so okay. I would recommend this movie to other people. I would recommend it for parents who love horror that want to introduce I would not say 8 to 12. I would say probably like 9 and up, like children. Like I'm going to let my son watch this now that I've watched it more recently and he says the book isn't scary, so we'll see if the movie scares him. So I'm gonna let him watch it this October and see what he thinks. I'll share his boo score later. Um, I would leave it on in a hotel room if it was on. I'm gonna give this a solid 2.5 boos. I feel like I've been landing in the middle a lot, but I'm gonna give it 2.5 boos.
I'm gonna go a little higher and give it a 3.
Ooh,
And
okay. Tell me why.
if this movie came out like when I was like 8, I'd fuck with
Hmm,
this real
that's
hard.
true. That's true.
I think that it's a really fun movie to, like, if I had like the nostalgic attachment to like the movie specifically, not necessarily the books, but to this movie,
Hmm.
like say if I was the same age as I was like when I saw Hocus Pocus, I feel like I would this would be almost like required Halloween watching each year coming back.
Hmm.
Just not because it's necessarily my favorite spooky story, my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
Um,
It's got the vibes.
but it's got the vibes. It works.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a little long. I think we could have figured out a way to kind of condense like the, you know, the like library records research and the
Hmm.
hospital records research.
Yes. Well, especially because the intro, like the introduction of all the characters in the beginning of the movie and setting the scene, I think is perfectly timed. So they lose that pace.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the stuff with Harold looked great. Everything with the Pale Lady
Hmm.
looked great. Um, yeah, maybe some of the others not so much, like the Toe Lady.
Yeah.
And I yeah, it's just like I like the design of the Jangly Man, just not like, some of the CGI
Yeah.
effects. Like when it get like way too close up at its face, like when it's like pushing its face through like the jail cell like bars, you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh,
They
okay, it's
probably
kind of
could have
cartoon.
calmed down on some of that and made
Yeah,
it look a little bit better.
agreed.
Yeah.
But I like the characters, even, some of the boring ones. Like Augie's kind of boring, but whenever they dispatch of him pretty quick.
I like his ongoing joke of like people saying that he's a clown and he's like, I'm a Perot.
Yeah.
Perot.
I'm a fancy boy. I'm a Perot.
Yeah.
So, I think this is pretty fun. I like the vibe of it. I'm gonna give it a 3. I like it.
Okay. You might be more on the right end of things with a 3 than a 2.5.
That's okay.
Because now I'm like, okay, like I gave Smile a 2.5 last week, so
I also gave Smile a 3.
I know, but I think I like this movie better than Smile for like rewatchability purposes.
A full half boo better.
That's what I'm trying to decide if I should change it. Should I stick with it or should I change it?
Just stick with it.
I'm
Go
gonna
with your
stick with
gut.
it. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 boos, but I will say I do think it's more rewatchable than my last 2.5 boos.
Sarah Bellows
What
is
about?
gonna fucking haunt you from the grave for giving her story only 2.5 boos.
I know. She's like, what the
Mm,
fuck?
yeah.
Talk so much
That's all.
shit.
That's all I got on scary stories to tell in the dark. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. Fun
Yeah.
books. If you haven't read the books, I think even as an adult, they are fun for kids. They're scary and fun. Like, read somebody's scary story, put a little flashlight under your face, and use your spooky voice. The
The right season
book,
for it.
the book teaches you how to read a scary story properly.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can probably add your own little flourishes, as you
Oh,
go.
I
Like don't
did.
go, yeah. Well, I mean, don't go too off script.
No.
Like who do you think you are, kind of
Yeah.
situation. But
Don't start doing like accents or anything.
yeah, I'll just do it in like a thick Jersey accent. All right, everybody. Take care. Love just spending another fucking spooky season with y'all going through these movies.
Yeah, enjoy your
So
spooky season.
yeah, excited for the next two coming up. They're gonna be fun
Hmm.
ones. All right, everybody. Take care. Get that toe out of your mouth. 3, 2, 1, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to our podcast and leave us a killer review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321GhostPod and give us a follow. We would love to hear your thoughts on the film and hear your favorite scary stories from the book. Follow us on Letterboxd at 321GhostPod to see our boost scores on all of the movies we've covered so far. Next week, we're discussing 1988's Night of the Demons. Thanks again for listening, and remember, don't steal books from ghosts. 3, 2, 1, ghost.